Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are across this great wide world of ours. I know I hadn't done a video in a while, and I've been busy doing some other things, especially with law school and doing some teaching, and also getting caught up on some reading and some other things. And the point I want to make, especially on the American reservation side, is in March, we just had an anniversary concerning the Bureau of Indian Affairs. From this point on out, I'm going to call it the BIA. And the point, we've had this whole Doge thing talking about government efficiency. And I'm still waiting and with bated breath about what the agency is trying to do with the BIA. The point that I want to make, he's covering and I'm not knocking what they're trying to accomplish, but they're talking about government efficiency. I'm a little leery when it comes to what they're accomplishing when you have other bureaus, like within the Bureau of BIA, and you got BLM, which is Bureau of Land Management, and all this is under the auspices or under the category of the Interior Department. And I have not seen Elon Musk or any of his minions look at or deal with the issue of on government efficiency within the Interior Department. The goal here is, I think there's a lot of duplication of work. I see that. I like when I was doing work with the BIA or doing research concerning the BIA, I noticed there was a lot of duplication of research. Reading on this, I see that there's interaction, that the departments are not really as efficient as they could. Case in point, we can just look at the issue that concerned on the Navajo Nation concerning a power plant that went in, and there was always this confusion or this disconnect, or as I call it, lost in translation between the BIA and the BLM, and that's case in point. And yet I have not heard anything from the Doge people, or even somebody reaching out to me concerning the issue of this issue. And later next week, and actually I probably start working on, I'm going to reach out to my congressman, and even though he's a Democrat, and say, listen, they say they're into efficiency, but the objective here is they're not. This is an area they don't have to really necessarily. People lose jobs, but what they can do is they can consolidate things into a more efficient manner. And the issue becomes, when the first started the BIA, it was under the Secretary of War Department. Now it's under, like I said, under the Interior Department, everything into the Interior Department. And part of this, if you read Harold Ickes and under FDR, part of the rationale was they wanted to change some of this into the Department of Conservation, and yet this didn't occur because of Western interest. And I think my big issue on that is I believe it had to do some issues with PAC money. And like I said, one of my goals is tomorrow is to get a letter off to the senators within the area, and also to the powers to be on that about that concerning that. And part of this issue is when we talk about the BIA, is we're trying to make Native Americans more empowered. In other words, let them come up with the decisions, let them make the decisions, and not necessarily let the government's influence about it. My contention is, if they really wanted to solve the problem with the budget, they can actually sell the land I mean, I'm in law school at Texas A&M, and the big issue becomes one of the biggest landowners in the United States is the federal government. So this is, to me, this whole Doge thing is, I don't understand the issue of efficiency when there's other issues that they can deal with this. And then this goes to this issue that, you can create up a system where, there isn't a waste. In other words, we don't harvest too many trees at one time, or we don't deplete water sources. We don't mineral resources, oil resources. Though my contention on that as well is being that our highest part of our production, came in the early 1970s, maybe as late as the mid 70s, and our resources in oil are constantly diminishing due to the fact, and yet we are still driving a lot. But that's another focus for another day. The issue here is, like I said, is when we talk about the BIA, we need to make it more efficient, and the issue becomes the efficiency centers on turning the lands away from the federal government and then turn them over to, and on my big contentions on this is turning the land over from the federal government to the states themselves. The majority of the reservations exist west of the 100 meridian point anyway, so the issue becomes, let the Western influences or Western states deal with this, and not necessarily let those decisions come up in Washington, D.C. And like I said, my contention is, I thought someone would reach out to me concerning the issues concerning this, but like I said, my goal is that the next issue that I'm going to start addressing is writing a letter off to the Congress about this, and going from there. Anyway, folks, I wanted to get something off about it. I do have a initiative that I'm working on. It's Clean Water Initiative. I talked about that in my other video or on my other one, but that's an issue. You can go Boyd T. Miller, Clean Water Initiative. You can zoom out on that, and then you can find out about that as well. So anyway, folks, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me as well. It's B. Thomas Miller, psych@gmail.com. Anyway, folks, feel free to reach out to me, and hope to talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.